So last thing I want to talk about today is the is the rise in crimes in LA. Now, as a nomad, as a hippie or a psychic or whatever, I've traveled. I'm from Florida. I've traveled through LA from like Santa Cruz down to the bottom, San Diego to San Francisco to LA. And LA has to be one of the worst places I've ever hated. And I always say this: the wage gap is so bad, and anyone in their right mind would not live in a place like this. And I always say that violence is gonna happen when you have such a wage gap like that. And just our economy, how it is, inflation and all these things. This is why I believe violence is that bad in LA right now. And there's a lot of footage going around with young black people stealing from boutique stores. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people are using this as the stereotype, they're all the same, but a lot of people still fail. A few people call out the systematic issues, but a lot of all people have been lacking the integrity to put in the actual problems, like systematic issues, like they conveniently always do. And but the fact that, more than 20% of black people, I think it was, something around that, live under the poverty line. We already know white supremacy, systematic issues, and that stealing is not unique to just black people. For one, I'm not condoning it, but when we think on things on a systematic scale and cause and effect and capitalism and anti-blackness, all these things, if someone's backed in a corner, what will they do? And when we put value on property, on clothes, fashion, flexing, more than people, the actual lives of people, where even since the Black Lives Matter happened, there was no money still going into education. People don't even want real black history. So when you have all this erasure happening, this violence happening, we fund the police more. we don't have, people have food insecurity. Like, it all adds up. It's not just people just come out the woodworks with bad character, in my mind. And so that's just my thoughts on it, even if I stand alone in that, to be honest. And maybe I still have just like a very Black Panther soul about it, because during the pandemic I was really hitting the politics, the political books. But yeah, that's just my perspective. I think it's always going to be some systematic issues, not to say that it's right, but even the fact that, why do we put so much value on some fucking fashion clothes? That's the real problem to me. And where can we go better as a society? And yeah, there's a tons of examples of every race having its issues, but when these things happen, people like to say well, what did you expect? But LA in general, again, when I went, I just didn't like it. It was dangerous for me as a solo traveler, and I would assume that anyone who's vulnerable. There was just news on 2 black women who were killed, 2 black models who were killed in their apartments. They think it's a serial killer, and so I'm not with it. LA just seems like and anyone just get it how you live there. People aren't scared to rob or kill to get where they need to be, basically. And I would advise anyone who stumbles upon this video, I don't know why we still glamorize these types of towns. Maybe because that's where Hollywood and celebrities want to be. But we gotta stop doing that and start being real about what these places really are, which is like cesspools of violence, of a lot of evil activity, to be honest. Like, when I see the portal as a psychic in LA, it's just dark. And so I don't think, as a sensitive person, I could stay there or be there that long without something also happening to me. So it's just a perspective. But yeah, more on this later.